not have support for Matter or Apple HomeKit, but it does have support for Alexa and Google Home Assistant. And honestly, given the limitations of a good deal of smart lighting brands and HomeKit and Matter, I'm honestly not that torn up about it. As advertised, the box can support 4K at 120, 8K at 60 Hz, and it even has support for 4K at 144. But there are some caveats, just as with the AI2 Sync box, that we'll touch on in a little bit. It also has support for VRR, HDR and Dolby Vision, ARC, ALLM, and CEC, which works incredibly well by the way, but we'll go in more details during the features. Fancy Sync Box also has HDCP 2.3 compliance, which means that you shouldn't run into any DRM issues. Now you're looking at a total of 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, as with Lytmi Fantasy's Pro, 3 in and 1 out, versus a total of 5 ports on the Govee AI2, which I am a little bummed about because it means that somebody has to get put on the chopping block. But honestly, most people are probably not going to be driving that many devices on the daily. But ports aside, probably the biggest crowning achievement of the fancy RGBW kit is the light strip itself, which uses a WS2814 12-volt unencapsulated light strip with an eye-watering 96 LEDs per meter, which of course includes dedicated white beads. If you ask me, this is definitely a declaration of war. My strip is better than yours type of thing. And as you can see, Fancy's 2.1 kit is extremely competitively priced per length, pound for pound. At a glance, here's everything included inside of the box. We have the instruction manual that gets straight to the point, the AC power adapter, which ships with the following 4 plug configurations, 4 plastic brackets with double-sided tape, which is used to aid in curving the strip around the corners of the TV, given that there's no wires to speak of separating the sections of the strip as found on the AI2 and Lytmi, a single high-speed HDMI 2.1 cable, the WS2814 light strip, which has a USB-C cable length of about 28 inches, and finally the 2.1 sync box itself, which from a footprint standpoint sits right in the middle between the AI2 and the Fantasy Pro. Now when it comes to the setup, it's a pretty hassle-free installation process, but you will need to spend a little more time at each corner given that there aren't any wires separating the strip. The way I see it, there's both pros and cons to this approach. Installation with the included 4L brackets is a little trickier, and you'll probably want to leave a little slack at these areas to ensure that there isn't too much strain on the strip at these points. But the upside is that the coverage is flat out God tier, not a single break in the immersion effect. Once the strip is installed, by starting at either the bottom left or right hand corner, you'll need to ensure that the appropriate L or R button is selected. Whatever you do, don't forget that these images in the manual serve as a visual from the back of the TV, not the front. And that's an important distinction to make because obviously your left and right direction changes depending on whether you're viewing the TV from the front or the back. Anyway, for good measure, when viewing the Fancy Sync box from the back, you'll first run the included HDMI 2.1 cable from the far right HDMI output port to a free port on the TV. And then from there, you can plug your gaming and streaming devices directly into the remaining 3 input ports. After that, connect the AC power adapter and then pull up the dedicated FancyLEDs iOS or Android app. Make sure you're connected to a 2G network and you'll then be prompted to create an account if you haven't already to add the device. Now, once your device is added, you can tap into it as such, and you can see that in addition to the TV Color Sync tab, there's also a Music or Sound tab that offers 6 different effect types, as well as a Scenes tab where you can choose from 12 preset scene modes, and you can also customize the dominant color that they portray. Unfortunately, as it stands now, it doesn't look like you're able to DIY any custom effects or select from community uploads, but I hope to see these areas expanded upon as Fancy continues to gain more traction. Jumping back into the Sync tab, this is probably where 90% of you will spend the majority of your time anyway. And as you can see right off the bat, there's not a whole lot of tweaking, adjustments, or customizations immediately available at your fingertips. But I can flat out tell you with confidence that there honestly isn't much that you need to do because Fancy has this sync box and backlight operating like a primed, well-oiled machine right out of the box. For example, you don't have to worry about toggling a black bar elimination button to ensure that theatrical bars don't hinder the light's performance in any way because Fancy flat out ignores these bars from the get-go. The sync box also not only powers on the backlight when a signal is detected and auto shuts off when a signal is lost, as with the AI2 and Lytmi using CEC, but Fancy Sync Box also has an auto port switch feature baked right in. So I can power off my PS5, for example, and then boot up my Series X, and the signal and color matching will auto switch on the back end seamlessly. There is a caveat though for the fancy port switching that I noticed after extended use. First things first, you'll need to be switching between devices that can either physically power off or sleep for the auto port switch to work consistently as intended. Because if I leave my PS5 powered on and then I pick up my Xbox controller and power it on as well, yes, the sync box will switch over to the Xbox, but there won't be any way to move back to the PS5 port, even with powering off the Series X, unless I manually switch over. But as long as you follow that golden rule, powering off or sleeping a device prior to powering on another, you're good. Overall, gaming consoles fit the bill perfectly for the fancy auto switch, but streaming devices on the other hand, such as a Fire TV, not so much, because those devices never truly power off or are put to sleep. They're pretty much always running in the background whether you're streaming to them or not. Here's an example. If I'm gaming on my PS5 and then I decide to power it off and I pick up my Fire TV remote, the fancy sync box is not going to automatically switch. You have to manually switch to that appropriate port. Okay, so when it comes to customizations in the app, we have the overall brightness toggle, which is pretty self-explanatory. And then we have diffusion mode, which regulates the level of reactivity or how segmented the colors will appear around the strip. Low mode limits segmentations to 4 colors. Medium bumps it up to 12 colors at a given time, while high will attempt to capture and mimic as many varying colors as possible at a given time. We then have the speed of diffusion percentage that you can change within each diffusion mode. Speed of diffusion percentage controls the transition rate or how acute or rapid the color shift will be. There's also a saturation toggle that's pretty easy to miss within the far right settings tab. As you'd expect, this will increase or decrease the vibrancy of color. Fancy recommends that most users go with a medium diffusion mode alongside a speed diffusion of 50% and a saturation of high, which I agree produces great results, though I do recommend lowering the speed of diffusion below 40% for general TV and movie streaming unless you're watching content that's deliberately fast-paced or action-packed. You can see here in this clip from Couples Retreat that 50% diffusion speed is a little too fast for this type of scene. But when I drop the speed of diffusion to about 15%, I think things look a lot more fluid. However, taking a look at something like the Cyberpunk 2077 intro, the fancy LEDs simply blow it out of the water at that 50% speed of diffusion. And not to mention that it handles reds with HDR and Dolby Vision active significantly better than the AI2 sync box right now. And black area dimming for fancy versus AI2 functions much more consistently. Over time, I've noticed that black area dimming for the AI2 can be a bit unpredictable in some cases. Sometimes the AI2 would deliver a low glow on the backlight for dark areas, and then sometimes the beads would completely shut off. I'm honestly a fan of both of these methods, depending on the content that I'm watching, but consistency is the key. Personally, I think the first sync box company that can give users the ability to choose how they want the backlight to handle dark areas on screen will have a serious leg up on everyone else. Imagine a toggle within an app that allows you to select a dim glow for dark areas or to shut the beads off entirely. The ability to choose is what I really want to see for future iterations. And while we're on the topic of software, I do think that the app could greatly benefit from an RGB color tint calibration feature similar to the AI2. Again, I do appreciate the fact that Fancy has put in most of the grunt work on the back end, but tint calibration is just something that I feel most color matching light products should offer to some extent, given that we all know at this point that HDR and Dolby Vision fundamentally alters the color information received via an HDMI signal. Moreover, I have to give you guys the heads up that monitors that rely on DSC to achieve higher refresh rates will not be able to achieve beyond 120 Hz at a 4K resolution, as is the case for the AI2, but you can get around this by screen mirroring your games, which I go in more details on for my AI2 review. Fancy has also tested and certifies that TVs such as the LG C4 and G4 are supported by the box to achieve 4K at 144. I actually just picked up a 77-inch C4, which I'm looking forward to getting unboxed and mounted very soon so I can start testing there as well. Now, in my experience, the Fancy Sync box has been just as reliable as the AI2 in terms of bringing back the picture when the screen goes black following launching a VRR 120Hz game, which is of crucial importance to be considered among the cream of the crop. Fancy Sync box has been an absolute workhorse in that regard, providing stability and maintaining a rich, high-quality image in conjunction with high performance that the PS5 Pro is capable of delivering. And it absolutely nails it for muted scenes and skin tones with the